Hey, welcome in everyone. This is Cole Schroeder, aka the Buffalo Nerd, with this week's top 4 picks to take against the book. This week's nerd versus the book. So starting out this week, I'm going to start out with my dog of the week. This team, I just think I've been kind of talking about them all off season, a little bit here and there. I think that the Detroit Lions at plus 6.5, minus 120 is the number I took them at here. Dan Campbell is 13-6 against the spread and 5-1 against the spread here recently with teams with a winning record. I guess, the Vikings are at, sitting there at 500, but they're definitely not a team that is performing very well right now. I do believe that Detroit has a clear identity of what they want to do. They have a way more high-powered offense than they've ever had in the past, and the Vikings tend to find a way to stumble against teams that they should probably beat. So this week, I really like the opportunity Detroit has. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay the money with Detroit plus 6.5. Next up, this one for me is just a play that if you look at the opener of this, it was at 10.5. Justin Herbert gets hurt. We're a little uncertain about the ribs, but I'm looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Chargers this week. I got the Chargers minus 3 points. This is just a better team. If you look at that number and you're going to say a touchdown because of the possibility that Herbert's hurt or he gets hurt, I still think that the quality of the opponents here is that the Chargers, yes, they're missing Keenan Allen, and they have some other pieces of the puzzle that are out. But if Justin Herbert's even in a decent capacity, there's nothing here that tells me that the Chargers, at the quality of team they are, should not be able to handle the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to lay the minus 3 here, and I'm going to roll with the Chargers at home. That's probably my favorite play of the week as far as a strength. I love Detroit as the home dog here, but if there's the favorite, I'm only taking a couple favorites in my top plays here, so the Chargers would be the top favorite that I would choose this week. It just feels like an opportunity where you're getting really good value on a team that is probably better even if the quarterback's not at 100%. Next up, this is the other favorite that I'm taking this week. I'm not a massive fan of this team at all, but I think Seattle at home against Atlanta, laying 1 point. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ride with the home team on this. I think Atlanta's shown us a little bit that they can have a little bit of spark, and they've given some teams some problems and whatever, and Seattle has not looked good by any means. But Atlanta is going all the way across the country. Usually when teams travel and they're not that good of a team, they're heading into Seattle where it's a tough place to play. I'm going to lean with the home team here, only having to give up 1 point. Both of these teams are very similar. Neither of them are good really in any regard. But if I'm going to go ahead and look for an opportunity to lay some value and, get good value on my money, I'm going to go with the home team here against an Atlanta team that has not been able to win, and or Seattle is just a team that you never know what you're going to get, but it feels like the perfect situation for them to continue to steer the ship and get themselves another victory. And last but not least, I think it's time here. This one's going to be interesting because I do believe we're going to look at the San Francisco 49ers versus the Denver Broncos. I do think the San Francisco is a very good football team, and I do see them potentially being one of the NFC teams that are making a deep run here. We're going to get to see Jimmy G back, which he looked good with his football team last year, so there's no reason to believe that Jimmy G stepping back in is going to be a massive problem. But right now, they're both kind of averaging, both teams, Denver and San Francisco, are averaging about 17 points a game. I think it was 19 points, for the San Francisco side compared to Denver. But right now, they're both giving up about 13 points a game. So for me, this feels like a very close game. Again, I'm going to take a home team who's getting a point and a half. So I'm taking Denver plus 1.5 here. It just feels like a very good opportunity. Again, you get the home team. There's some uncertainty with San Francisco. They haven't really looked great. A lot of it hasn't really gelled, and that could all change here. But on the flip side of that, you get Russell Wilson, who's familiar with San Francisco, has had some success against them. He's got probably a higher-powered offense than he's had, in some time against them. So I'm going to stay with the home team here, and I'm going to go ahead and take Denver at Mile High plus 1.5. That's going to do it for the 4 picks this week. Make sure you guys remember to subscribe to the show and follow me at Colt Schroeder on Twitter and everything at the Buffalo Nerd.